Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Max. I just do that. I just point to him and I say Max. That's it. That's all I need. Just a name. I could give him this big build-up, but he doesn't need it. He's doing fine. So, Max, we need to talk about Schneiderlin.
Let's do it.
Yeah, he's out in the cold, shivering. Everton are playing well, and poor Morgs can't get a sniff, can't even get on the bench. Poor guy's begging for scraps of playing time. Please let me play. Not really. He's, but
Yeah,
what's
I'm
going
sure
on
he's
with him?
told
What is going to happen with Schneiderlin?
I don't know, but I feel like this exclusion from the matchday squads is just a consequence of having good competitive balance in your squad. Quite literally, as you said before, I just think he's been Andre Gomez, and even then, you could, the arguments is there to be made that even Tom Davies is above him in the pecking order. So
He is.
it is quite a strange scenario. For me, it's interesting because obviously he had the season that he did last season where, he had a lot of doubters. And then he did that interview with beIN Sports where he said, if I was to go to a different club, I wouldn't go to another Premier League club because I feel like, I've been there and done that in England. I'd go back abroad. For a player I don't know, obviously, his attachment to the club might not feel that great to be talking about a move away, to be plotting his future elsewhere. Like we were saying off camera, the reason why I like him so much, Gerry, is just that style of footballer. A really technically proficient central midfielder that just kind of doesn't look like he breaks a sweat and can knock a ball about for days. Again, we seem to be knocking all this discussion out off camera, but he just seems like he'd be really well suited for, say, the Italian league or back in France or the Dutch league, just one of these countries where the top level of football is more technical than anything else, because it does seem like it's the physical side of the Premier League, and the pace, the cardiovascular endurance that comes along with that just makes him look a bit out of place, I feel.
Yeah, lack of pace is a big thing for him, and his tendency to, he just doesn't pass forward that often. You see a lot of playing backward, kind of playing safe. I don't think it helps that when he's played, he's been playing alongside Gay, because that's almost, we've talked about it, it's almost double duty.
Yeah.
Two players sort of playing. I'd love to see him play a game with someone, just to see what he's capable of playing that by himself. Shielding the defense more.
Mopping up the ball.
And the thing is, like Silva has said, he is in the mold of a player that I would like to have.
Exactly.
He said this. I don't know. I soured on Schneiderlin last season based on, lack of effort. And I kind of got more behind him this season just because it seemed like he'd been working a lot harder. And he put in some good performances. Not all of his performances were poor this season. He's done some work this season. But when you compare, I think Gomez is just more offensive minded, more attack minded. I think that's what Silva wants out of that position right now. More of a number 8. And Schneiderlin's just not that. So
And he's just an anchor in midfield, isn't he? I feel his best role is kind of when he mops up on the counter attacks, cuts out opposition breakaways early. You compare that to Idrissa Gueye, who kind of does the same job, but has those physical traits in his favour. I'm sure if you compared them both, in terms of sprint speed, I'm sure Idrissa Gueye would be ahead by a long shot. But I just think that's atypical of the Premier League now. In the top sides, a midfielder doesn't spring to mind of the same ilk of Morgan Schneiderlin, all these top sides have that kind of energizer buzzing in midfield. The one who's just batteries just never seem to die. They can run and run and run and doesn't stop for the whole 90 minutes. We've got that in Idrissa Gueye. Andre Gomez has made good on his introduction into the team. So yeah, it just, as I said, I just feel like it's the consequence of a good competitive balance.
I suppose my issue right now is, what if Gueye gets hurt?
Probably go for Tom Davies, wouldn't he?
So
I'd imagine.
So then you've got Tom Davies playing a similar Idrissa Gueye type of role, which he hasn't done all season, really.
No, but me personally, if Gueye was to get injured, I would probably go for Schneiderlin with that kind of, because he's defensive orientated. His bread and butter is that defensive side of the game. Whereas, as we know with Tom Davies, he likes that burst forward and he has an eye for goal.
Right.
But as we were saying earlier, would Marco Silva see it that way? Do we think Morgan Schneiderlin's above Davies in the pecking order? And personally, I don't think so.
Yeah, I would. If Gueye gets hurt, I would prefer to put in Beningame, personally, because I feel like his game is pretty similar to Gueye's in that he's got that pace. He's got that. Schneiderlin has that toughness as well, but Schneiderlin has that. There's a certain grace about him. You know what I mean? In terms of a lot like Gomez.
It can almost be interpreted as a bit lackadaisical at times from Schneiderlin, I feel. Not lazy by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's just part of his game, the way he glides around the pitch. Kind of, he doesn't burn himself out.
Right.
Which I can't blame him. I can't blame him, because obviously, if you want to keep yourself, you're obviously going to keep an eye on yourself in terms, knowing your own limits, making sure you don't get burnt out or leave yourself suspect to getting injuries, which I don't think he has. But if you kind of contextualise his Everton career as a whole, what was the transfer fee that he ended up coming for? With near enough 30 million.
Well, I don't think it was as close to 30. I feel like it was somewhere between 20 and 25, somewhere in there. I think we wanted to pay 20, and United was trying to hold out for a little bit more. I think at the end, that's why it took a while for him to come over. Yeah,
and he's not really attained a goal by any means. He's not really broke into the French squad or achieved anything.
No.
So it's not to say his Everton career has been a failure, but we do look like we're on the up now, and if he's one of the kind of the ones that has to go as a consequence of moving forward, then it is what it is. That's just the way football works.
I think if he moves on, we'll be replacing him. I could see us actually purchasing someone.
He's not irreplaceable. He's not irreplaceable. You can find central midfielders like that.
Mm-hmm. Some that maybe push a little bit more in terms of our, actually pushing for playing time. But yeah, right now I can't. If Gomez and Idrissa Gueye are healthy, can you imagine them not starting? Can you imagine anyone coming to our squad and playing over them, regardless of health? They would have to be a really remarkable player, because those two right now are in really good form.
Yeah, they'd have to be like a Champions League standard of player, and I don't personally might divide opinion, but we're not capable of attracting that just yet.
Unless we find a real gem somewhere, or if we get another crazy transfer window, because Marcel.
Yeah, the man.
He's
just the man, isn't he?
I don't think we expected what we got.
No, he's fantastic.
Yeah. So, could you see Schneiderlin leaving on loan this winter, or do you think we try to hold on to him just in case?
No, I don't think it'll be a loan. I think if he's going to move anywhere, it'll be on a permanent basis. Really, he's not really. I don't think he'd fancy being one of those players like a Morales, where he's 27, 28, whatever he is, going out on loan. I think if he wanted to go somewhere, it'd be on a permanent.
And I can't see him leaving on a permanent during the winter.
Exactly.
I could see him leaving this June.
Probable.
You know, but you know how we are with some of our dead wood. We've found it very difficult to sell off.
Shit. Mm.
Yeah, a lot of loans. So that could be what happens. But I mean, doesn't he and his wife, don't they have a newborn?
Yeah, they do. That was something that entered my mind, but I didn't want to say it just in case I was wrong. But yeah, that'd just factor in, wouldn't it? You know, I don't think he'd want to go anywhere on loan. I think if he'd want to go, he'd want to settle.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. If he does go, nowhere in England, probably. I think that's what we discussed. So are we thinking France, Italy?
Probable. I just think it suits his, his technical profile as a player. I think his technical ability would shine more in Serie A.
Top half teams, but probably not those tip-top teams.
Well, you never know, because as we were saying, the top teams do have a tendency to pull off a transfer that makes you kind of double glance and go, really, that's happened. But we'll see. I mean, I can't see him taking over Adrian Rabiot or Julian Draxler's place at PSG, but we'll see.
I'm sorry. The idea of that just kind of made me giggle. I'd be psyched. I mean, he'd get it together. I wish these people well whenever they leave. I don't want them to suck unless they've ripped us out of a bunch of money, or if they've just been sitting there talking shit the whole time they've been here. Those folks, I'm just like, meh. But
those two players in particular.
I wasn't being specific. What are you talking about? But yeah, if he does go over there and just tear it up, good on him. Hope he does well. All right. Well, I guess that's it for our Schneiderlin segment. Max, you kept your composure well.
Thank
you did
you.
well.
I'll start crying now once the camera goes off.
Just like every recording session, you know what I mean? One of us ends up in tears just every time. So I guess that's it for our Schneiderlin segment. If you've been enjoying the Toffee Blues, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are super close to 1,300 subs, which is crazy because we've only been doing this for just over a year. So yeah, if you haven't subbed and you've been thinking about it, or if you've been like, what does that even mean? It literally, it's like no work at all on your end. Okay. And then all your subscribed channels all show up in the same place. It's just for convenience, just easier to find the channels, easier to find your videos. So do that. It helps us out too. Also, you should check out Max. He shows up on a lot of places. Check his Twitter profile. He's got his Twitter handle right over there. Check it out. You can see where he'll be this week. But also he's got stuff on the Toffee Blues website, lots of analysis, and yeah, he's just emptying his brain out for your pleasure. So anyway, that's it. We are going to move on to talk about a possible signing. If Everton signed Aaron Ramsey, how in the world would that even work, and is it a good idea? So come on back for the next video. Until then, we'll see ya. Bye.